Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're journeying back in time to the very cradle of civilization. Our destination is a sun-drenched land defined by two mighty rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. This is Mesopotamia, a Greek name that literally means the land between the rivers. For thousands of years, these waters have been the lifeblood of empires, the inspiration for myths, and the silent witnesses to the birth of human society as we know it. So where does our story begin? Imagine a landscape, vast and arid. Then picture these two rivers snaking their way down from the mountains of what is now Turkey, flowing southeastward through modern-day Syria and Iraq, before finally merging and emptying into the Persian Gulf. This journey of over 1,000 miles created a long, fertile crescent of land in an otherwise harsh environment. This was the Fertile Crescent. And it was here, in this improbable oasis, that humanity decided to put down roots. But why here? The answer is simple: water. And not just any water. Each year, as the snow in the northern mountains melted, the Tigris and Euphrates would swell and overflow their banks. This annual flooding might sound destructive, but it was a gift. The floodwaters carried with them a rich, dark, nutrient-packed silt. When the waters receded, they left behind a layer of incredibly fertile soil, perfect for farming. Early humans, who had been living as nomadic hunter-gatherers, realized they could plant seeds in this soil and reap bountiful harvests year after year. This agricultural revolution changed everything. For the first time, people didn't have to constantly move in search of food. They could settle down in one place, build permanent homes, and grow more food than they needed to survive. This surplus was the key that unlocked civilization. With a stable food supply, populations grew. Villages swelled into towns, and towns into the world's very first cities. Cities like Uruk, Ur, and Babylon rose from the Mesopotamian plains, bustling with people, trade, and new ideas. Life in these early cities was a complex dance with the rivers. The people, known as the Sumerians, became master engineers. The floods were a blessing, but they were also unpredictable. A flood that came too early or too late, or was too powerful, could wipe out an entire year's crops. To control the water, the Sumerians developed sophisticated irrigation systems. They dug a network of canals to channel river water to their fields, and they built dikes and reservoirs to manage the floods and store water for the dry season. This was a monumental undertaking, requiring massive cooperation and organization. It was this need to work together to manage the rivers that helped forge the first governments and social structures. And with organized society came the need for record-keeping. How do you keep track of who owns which plot of land? How much grain is in the city's storehouse? How do you record laws and trade agreements? To solve these problems, the Sumerians invented something truly revolutionary: writing. Using a reed stylus, they pressed wedge-shaped marks into wet clay tablets. This script, known as cuneiform, is one of the earliest forms of writing ever discovered. It allowed them to record everything from epic poems, like the Tale of Gilgamesh, to simple grocery lists. The rivers gave them clay for their tablets, just as they gave them mud for their bricks and soil for their crops. The influence of the Tigris and Euphrates wasn't just practical, it was deeply spiritual. The rivers were seen as powerful deities, capable of giving life or taking it away. They featured prominently in Mesopotamian mythology and religion. The world, they believed, was created from a watery chaos, and the rivers were a constant reminder of the gods' power. The unpredictable nature of the floods shaped a worldview where humanity was at the mercy of often fickle and demanding deities. They built towering temples called ziggurats, stepped pyramids that reached for the heavens, to honor and appease these powerful river gods. As the centuries rolled on, new empires rose and fell on the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates. After the Sumerians came the Akkadians, then the Babylonians, the Assyrians, and the Persians. Each civilization built upon the foundations of the last, but their existence always depended on their ability to master the two rivers. The famous Babylonian king, Hammurabi, is known for his legal code, but he also boasted of his great canal-building projects. The Assyrians, known for their military might, used the rivers as highways for their armies and for trade, connecting their vast empire. The city of Babylon itself, one of the most magnificent cities of the ancient world, was bisected by the Euphrates. The legendary Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, were said to be an incredible feat of engineering, using a complex system to lift water from the river to irrigate a mountain-like terraced garden. Whether the gardens truly existed as described, the story itself highlights the central importance of water control and its association with royal power and prestige. However, the very source of Mesopotamia's strength was also its vulnerability. The constant need for irrigation had a long-term, unintended consequence. The river water contained dissolved mineral salts. As the water evaporated from the fields under the hot sun, the salts were left behind. Over centuries, this process, called salinization, caused the soil to become increasingly salty and less fertile. Historians believe that this environmental degradation contributed to the decline of southern Mesopotamian cities and the northward shift of power in the region. It's a sobering, early lesson in the delicate balance between human civilization and the environment. Even after the fall of the great ancient empires, the Tigris and Euphrates continued to shape history. They were crucial routes for trade along the Silk Road, and they remained vital agricultural arteries for the caliphates of the Islamic Golden Age. The city of Baghdad, founded on the banks of the Tigris, became a world center for science, culture, and learning. The rivers that had nurtured the first cities continued to nurture one of the world's most brilliant civilizations. Today, the Tigris and Euphrates still flow, but the challenges they face are modern. Dam construction, water-sharing disputes between the countries they flow through, and climate change are putting immense pressure on these ancient waterways. The land between the rivers, once a lush cradle of life, now faces desertification and water scarcity. It's a stark reminder that the story of these rivers is not over. Our relationship with the great rivers of the world is as crucial now as it was for the first Sumerian farmers. So, from the first seeds of agriculture to the invention of writing, from the rise of mighty empires to the birth of law and religion, the story of the ancient world is inextricably linked to the Tigris and the Euphrates. They weren't just a backdrop for history. They were active participants, shaping human destiny with their currents, their floods, and their life-giving waters. They are a timeless testament to how geography can give birth to civilization. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back to Mesopotamia. If you enjoyed this exploration of ancient history, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories from the ancient world. Let us know in the comments which ancient civilization you'd like to see us cover next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.